Hello,
Hello.
welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, I'm Jo.
And I'm Andy.
And we're Park Pioneer, and we post videos about Disney parks and parks around the world because we've just done a Tivoli video.
And it's been quite a while since we've done a proper video.
Since we sat in this exact spot.
Well, yeah. I mean, our last video sat here was quite rambly and explaining we're changing the channel and stuff like that.
And where we've been.
And where we've been. You can check that out. We'll leave that down below. Up there, yeah.
I just wanted to go like that.
But today, we are doing a video of a series of posts that we've started on the website called The Good and the Bad, and in it we'll be discussing resorts that we stayed at and what we found was the good part and the bad parts. And today we're going to be talking about Riviera.
We will leave a link down below in the description box, or maybe as a pinned comment, to the actual post on the website if you want to read a
short version,
probably a more succinct version.
Yeah, because that's
you'll miss all the glorious B-roll of illustrating our points.
Because that's nicely edited down and explains our points, which can be probably a bit less
illustrative.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's a good way. I like that. A bit less illustrative of what we mean. So we've got a nice little rambly video here to talk things through.
And now that I've used the word illustrative, do not expect any more big words.
It's God.
Big word pooter up.
That's the one. It's God.
So yeah, we're going to start with Riviera Resort. That is our home DVC resort.
Yeah, so there's a little bit of bias. May need to add that, but we are critical of it in some areas as well. So.
Yeah, but it's a resort we have only stayed at once. We do have a loose trip planned for in the future, staying there again. Obviously, as our home resort, it probably is realistically going to be the Disney resort we visit most.
It will absolutely be. Especially if we're booking in advance, because most of our visits are done in short time periods and Riviera isn't available because it is so popular. Yeah. So we'll stay there more often. So we've got a little bit of biased opinion on this because we bought into the property. Yeah,
obviously we wouldn't have bought DVC for there if we didn't like
if we didn't like the resort. But,
yeah. But anyway. So we're going to start with a good. Okay, let's start with a good. So the first good that we have is the Skyliner.
Yes. And if you don't know what the Skyliner is, it's a cable car. I can't remember what the actual term is. It's got a specific term. I can't remember what it is. But it's a cable car. I can't remember what.
But what else could it be called other than cable car?
Oh, I don't know. Right, it's a cable car. But it goes between Riviera, Caribbean Beach, Art of Animation, Pop Century.
I think Pop Century and Art of Animation share
they've got a bridge between them, so it's in the middle of the bridge. And then also it goes to Epcot and Hollywood Studios. For the Epcot side, it lands at International Gateway, which then puts you in between the UK and France on World Showcase. And Hollywood Studios, it's at the front gates.
Yeah. If you've been to either of those parks, you cannot have missed the gondolas going past. That's the word you were thinking of. But I thought that was the actual, the seat bit.
Gondolas. Anyway.
So, we've stayed at resorts that have been bus only.
Yeah.
Obviously, Riviera with its Skyliner, and we've stayed on a monorail resort when we stayed at Bay Lake Tower. And out of all the resorts we've stayed at, transportation has been the best at Riviera because of the Skyliner.
Yeah. Getting to Epcot and Hollywood Studios is so easy. You just walk up to the station within I don't know how long it actually takes. It feels like less than 10 minutes in either direction, and you're at the doors of the parks.
Obviously, it's hard to time because sometimes you do get stopped if they're putting in a disability access gondola into the route. So it's hard to time, but I don't think we've ever been more than absolute most 15 minutes.
Yeah, they run pretty much constantly. they seem to just chew through people because you can fit about 8 people in each gondola. You do queue at some of the stations, especially the Caribbean Beach station.
Yeah, the one that is the changeover point to Hollywood Studios.
Yeah, so you can queue in there but we've never spent more than 5 minutes in there, and it's usually last thing at night when people are trying to get back to Riviera where you end up queuing.
Yeah, so like coming out of Hollywood Studios or Epcot on an evening, if everyone is going at the same time, then obviously
it can be
you've got a queue. Exactly the same as you would for the buses though, or for the monorail, that, you know, everyone going in the same direction, you queue.
I suppose when you look at it, it's like a bus can hold, what, 60 odd, 70 odd people?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, probably that. And then the Skyliner can take 8 per cabin, and then they go past like one every 15-20 seconds or something like that. It's quite a throughput. So, you know, it's you can move a lot of people fast. So while you come out of Hollywood Studios and you see that queue coming down all the ramp and then out the front again and thinking, oh my god, I would not want to queue in that, you'll see that queue move quite rapidly.
Like, we purposely, if there is ever a time that we're leaving the parks just as maybe like the fireworks have finished or like Fantasmic,
Yeah.
we have always done it that we wait. So we will literally sit on a bench and just people watch inside the park. And then after maybe 20-25 minutes, we'll start meandering out then, because we're not in a rush. We know that the Skyliner is still going to be running, and yeah, we know then that we can just more or less walk straight on.
Yeah.
So.
And as a added bonus as well to the Skyliner, just while I remembered, the buses. So it feels like that it has a normal number of buses in the resort, and because they don't have to do Hollywood Studios and Epcot, there seem to be more buses to Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom, which makes it a bit quicker if you do have to get the bus.
I wonder if there is sort of a thing of there are 6 buses per resort, and then they basically can say
split them out between where they're going.
We only need to have Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom, so now we can put extra on.
I don't know, maybe just because of the Skyline, it just seems to take the weight off the buses, and the buses are always easier. And also, there's never a crowd at the buses either.
No, there's not. The other thing that I've just thought now, obviously, we are. I'm going to say the word middle-aged, but we are. We are middle-aged dinks. So, obviously, no thing with having prams, but the fact that prams don't need to be folded down to get onto the Skyliner.
Yes.
And are they called EVC?
Yes, EVCs.
The little scooters.
EVCs, yeah.
The little scooters action.
Yeah.
But the electric scooters can just go straight on as well.
Can just drive onto them as well.
I feel that if we did have children, the not having to fold a pram down would be a game changer.
Yeah, because that's a load of faff, isn't it, to get on the buses?
Yeah, imagine you've set all your pram up and everything for the day with like snacks and bags.
Battle wagoned it up.
Yeah.
And then you have to take it all apart just to get it into the bus. Whereas you can fit a double pram easily onto those gondolas. It's not just a case of, it's a single pram that you can get in there. No, it'll be a double pram. Like you were saying, an ECV or EVC or whatever. And
then like we've seen people, like there's families of like 6 who've managed to sit sort of around the pram still.
Yeah.
And so I feel like if you have mobility issues or have pram, then that is a massive win as well.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah,
I think
even though the Skyliner absolutely terrified me the first time we went on it, and I'll be honest, the intrusive thoughts whenever we go over Caribbean Beach are always, if we were to drop out of this like gondola now, would we go through the roof and then land on a bed and it'd be a soft enough landing that we'd actually
Yeah, that's a great thought there, Jo. That's great. So I think we sung the praises of the Skyliner next, so we should get onto a bad next.
The Skyliner.
So yeah, the Skyliner can be a bit of a mixed bag.
I realised that we've just
sung its praise for
5 minutes being all like, we love the Skyliner, and we do love the Skyliner, but realistically the Skyliner and Thunder and Lightning are not a winning combo.
No, it doesn't mix well. So
And storms kind of happen in Orlando.
Especially in September when we like going. But it's obviously something that Disney don't want to risk, is people getting stuck in a storm in a cable car.
I don't want to be on a cable car in a storm.
Even if there's a threat of a nearby storm, they'll shut it down and just completely stop it. And in those eventualities, you're back to bus service, which isn't too bad, but it's the emergency bus services that you put on. So if you're going from Epcot, what you actually have to do is go down to Beach Club, is it? Or is it Yacht Club? I can't remember which one.
Was Beach Club.
Yeah, so you go to the bus station in Beach Club through the hotel, and then you have to look for one of the emergency buses that have the name Jiminy Cricket, I think it is.
Yeah.
That's got memory there. And then you'll tell the driver where you want to go.
And then, the driver will go. If there are a few of you, they will do a tour of the different resorts. You won't just have like an emergency Riviera bus. It'll be every Skyliner resort.
So depending on your luck of the draw, because there's a lot of resorts on the Skyliner who also do not have bus services to these parks. So Art of Adoration, Caribbean Beach and Pop Century. So if there is a crowd of people wanting to go home, that bus is going to be heaving.
And it's going to go round the world.
Yeah, so this is specific to Epcot.
The Hollywood Studios buses still just go from the bus station.
From the bus station as normal do, but I think the Riviera one is out in the sticks.
Yeah, it is like the
stop number 50
stop,
or something like that. That's
because
right at the end.
It's not used regularly, so it is just one of the emergency stops, if you like.
Yeah.
But yeah, we came back from Epcot once in the middle of a massive thunderstorm. It was absolutely tipping it down. We saw the nice sign that said, due to inclement weather, the Skyliner is not operational. As we're, in our HUDs going, we can just about see the sign.
They do pop a sign outside the Skyliner at Epcot to tell you where to go. It's not just that you have to guess. There is a sign, that's how we know where to go.
Except the sign just said to get the bus from, I'm pretty sure it was Beach Club.
I think it was Beach Club. The first one next to World Showcase.
It feels like that.
International Gateway even.
Feels like that's Beach Club. But I don't know that area well enough. But yeah, it said to go there to get the bus. So we went there and we went to the bus section. And then there were no signs, no cast members. And we were like, what do we do now then?
Yeah.
Like, do we just wait for a bus that says Riviera?
Every bus that come past was just obviously the parks, going to different parks, and then I think you actually were able to find a cast member.
No, I asked the bus driver. So a bus driver stopped in the Jiminy Cricket bus and was just sat there with the doors open, but nobody was getting on. So I just went up and was like, excuse me, do you know where we actually get the bus to Riviera? Because it says to get a bus from here, because the Skyliner's down. And they were like, yeah, I'm it. I was like, what? You say Jiminy Cricket? And they're like, yeah, that's what we put for emergency buses, because it doesn't have a fixed. And I was like, okay.
A little sign could have helped, but it's one of those. It was a while ago. It may have improved since then.
We did get lucky that there were a lot of people who I think were waiting for the emergency buses who also didn't know.
Yeah.
But the bus drivers wasn't getting off the bus to say, hey, I'm the emergency bus. There was no other cast members around directing people. So we had a private bus transfer to Riviera.
Straight to Riviera, so it was quick getting home. But like I said, it is a shared bus, so you could be all around the world. And I think with how the roads are laid out, you might end up going Pop, Art, then Riviera.
Yeah, I think they would do Pop Art, Caribbean, Riviera.
I think Riviera might be the last one.
And I suspect at Caribbean they'd probably do multiple stops of Caribbean, like the entire resort, because technically Caribbean kind of has two Skyliner stops, because it's got the one that is the change point. But then some people who are staying the opposite side of Caribbean get off at
Art side,
I was going to say, no, they get off the Riviera side.
Oh yeah, true.
So
It's a mixed bag. It's definitely more positive than negative, but
Absolutely.
those situations could really ruin a night. Like a late night at Epcot, and then the storm hits, it can really ruin your evening having to fight through all of that hassle just to get back to your resort. So it's one thing to consider.
I think as well, though we've never experienced it because our room was far enough away, people who have stayed on the side of Riviera that is nearest to the Skyliner do say that the Skyliner starts up. So I think it starts taking passengers at 7 a.m. But it starts doing all of its initial checks and does an initial run from about 6 a.m. And people from the reviews we've seen who stay in the side of Riviera that is nearest Skyliner have said that they got woken up every day by the Skyliner making like a crunching mechanical sound
noise,
which I guess then would be a negative of the Skyliner because it's waking you up.
Because that's the thing, Riviera isn't a terminating station, it's just a middle point station, isn't it? So, because one way goes to Epcot, the other way goes to Hollywood Studios. That's that bad. So
we've done a good.
So let's bring another positive in now.
Well, I was going to say we've just done a good and we've done a bad. Does that make us the ugly?
Yeah, we are the ugly.
Cool.
Should that be the thumbnail? Me going. Okay.
So another positive.
Yeah, let's get back onto a positive.
Let's go with the actual rooms at Riviera.
The rooms at Riviera. I could sing all days about these. Now, you had an initial reaction to this, but I'll go with my start. So, a lot of people are heavily opinionated about how Riviera is laid out, but they were the first of what I think are the new standard of DVC rooms, in that they have the Murphy beds, they have the kitchenette or the kitchen and the types of beds and everything, and the sort of very modern, very well done. And they have theming, but it's not over the top theming. And I think it was the theming that got you, because they give it a little bit of Riviera rustic, well-worn, well, not well-worn, but well-loved resort and room. And you walked in and initially and went, ugh.
I think I need to preface this with that travel day.
That was horrendous.
So, that trip, things had happened at home, and I had ended up spending about 14 hours in A&E
with a relative,
and then getting home at 3 a.m. I hadn't packed, so I had to then pack. Then we were leaving at 5 a.m. to get to the airport, so I basically had like 2 hours to pack and sleep.
And then you had no real sleep on the plane.
And then I didn't sleep on the plane, and that was the Aer Lingus flight as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, and Aer Lingus, that's a whole nother video.
Yeah, there's the good and the bad of Aer Lingus coming.
Just lots of bads on that one.
Yeah,
to
anyway.
Be honest.
So I was running on
fumes. You really were.
Yeah, and I sort of walked in, and the paint effect on some of the woodwork, where it kind of is given a speckled, very, very rustic Italian.
Yep.
But I was just like...
You were over it, weren't you?
It's dirty.
It's dirty and horrible.
Somebody shook a can of Coke and sprayed it everywhere.
No, that's the spattle effect. It's like... Anyway, you woke up the next morning and then you had a completely different opinion.
Yeah, and then I loved it.
Yeah.
I think, personally, it could do with just maybe 1 or 2 more drawers.
Yeah.
However, the size of the wardrobe space, the fact that it's got some little pull-out drawers at the bottom of the bed, the space under the bed for the suitcase.
Yeah, perfect.
It's very nicely laid out. Essentially having 2 bathrooms as well, because there is the shower that is the stand shower, like just a giant standing shower with a rainfall.
In a studio as well.
Yeah, we've only stayed in a studio, but this was like a giant rainfall shower.
Yeah.
But then it had the vanity units and the toilet area.
Separate.
And then a separate bath with a shower over it as well.
Yeah.
Which meant that if we were in a rush for going out for a meal because we'd been at the park too long or whatever, we could both have a shower at the same time.
Yeah.
And that was a game changer. Also meant that we could dry swimming costumes by just putting it out and leaving it over the bath, like putting the
the standard issue clothesline that's there. Yeah.
Apparently I go like that with. And just leave it there without having to take it all down because we need a shower, then put it all back up. It could just live there quite happily.
Yeah. And there was plenty of space in that room that you could sleep 5, no problem. Because there was 2 Murphy beds. There was one for the sofa, and then there was one under the TV cabinet, a single. And it was just the little kitchenette type thing, just big enough perfectly for what you need. Just enough storage. Probably could do with a little bit more.
Because it just needed, I think, two more drawers.
Yeah, I just don't know where to squeeze them
No,
without
I
putting
don't.
another piece of furniture in. And also then the balcony as well. We had was that one a preferred view? Yes, it was a preferred view. Looking over the pool area and out, and
we were
looking
looking over the adult pool.
Looking over the adult pool, and it was prime people watching.
There was quite a few times that we sat out on the balcony with a bottle of wine, just watching the storms and the people.
Yeah.
And
it
it's
was
just, and like you enjoyed first thing in the morning, getting up, getting a coffee, and
getting
just
a coffee
sit
and
there.
sitting outside was just brilliant. High floor preferred view, definitely worth it. Definitely worth it.
Yeah. Out of the rooms that we have stayed in, that is my second favourite, purely only because at Saratoga we stayed in a one bedroom.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, and I don't. It's kind of hard to compare.
I imagine if we stay in Riviera 1 bed, that would be instantly your top, especially since it's got a big roll top.
A roll top spa bath. Absolutely, there's no contest that would be the favourite.
Winner chicken dinner for you, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think if we were to if you ignore the 1 bed, because the 1 bed really is comparative to a villa.
Yeah.
So if you ignore that one and you just go off hotel rooms at Disney, that is without doubt my favourite one that we've stayed in.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a good. Let's bring in a bad. And it's a common complained about item, and we're going to bring it up, but it's a bit of a middle one for us. It's not good, it's not bad. It's the lobby. Now,
I struggle with calling this bad, to be honest. I know a lot of people always say, oh, the lobby at Riviera is rubbish because it's so small.
So I'm not taking it, it's just purely the lobby. I'm saying it's more the common areas, which the lobby in most view is like the common area where you would meet up and stuff like that.
Okay.
So in comparison to other resorts like Saratoga Springs, Beach Club,
Port Orleans, Riverside.
The Contemporary, there isn't a lot of common areas to sit around and wait for people. You've only got that very small lobby area, which has got a couple of seats in it. There's a couple of seats outside, but obviously on hot days you don't want to be out there for hours.
There's that little aviatory sort of.
Yeah,
is that what it's called? Aviator.
Yeah, so that's
loungy bit.
Yeah, I want to bring that up in the next.
Okay.
In a good.
Hold that thought.
Hold that thought. But yes, it has got that lounge area, but that doesn't fit it in with like common areas. It is somewhere you can go to escape, but it just feels like a half-executed idea, that one. But I'll bring that up.
Right.
later.
So you mean the lobby to be a sofa area to sit and wait for the rest
areas
of your party.
So if you think about Saratoga Springs, you've got the check-in lobby, then you go to the left, and then there's all that seating there.
Yeah,
where
true,
you can just
actually,
sit but also the seating in the lobby area, and there's more space to manoeuvre around. You don't have to go to the food court to find somewhere to sit. There's that sort of interim area. Contemporary as well. I mean, there's practically floors of it in Contemporary of where you can go and sit around.
No, I see what you mean. It's the space of navigating to the actual check-in desk with your suitcases, whilst you can have somebody one of you go and do it whilst somebody else can be sat with all the bags, and there's enough room for everyone to sit.
Yeah. So okay. Riviera is seen as small because it's only got that central area near the check-in desks.
And I think comparative to all of the other resorts, it is a small lobby, but the resort is a small resort.
Yeah, so the resort is only 300 rooms compared
to...
Yeah, it's not as big as people think it is.
I'll be honest, I thought it was bigger than 300 rooms.
Well, when you compare it to like Saratoga Springs and I think Bay Lake is the only one that's smaller as an individual element, but that's part of the Contemporary Hotel. So that's got a lot more space available to it. But if you think about the lobby in Bay Lake, that is absolutely tiny.
Right, so if every room, now I know not every room can because there's Tower Studios, but let's, to make the maths easy, say that every room sleeps 5 people.
Yeah.
And there's 300 rooms. Does that mean that there is a maximum capacity at Riviera of 1,500?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Have I done the maths right there?
Yes.
Yeah, so 1,500 people.
Yeah.
Wow. Because, like, is it Art of Animation or Pop?
Yeah.
Have 1,900 rooms.
Yes.
That can have 5 people.
And you wonder why there's so many pools at these resorts when Riviera's got 2, an adult and a general.
Right, so if you think in them terms, then it doesn't need as much seating area, and it doesn't need a giant lobby.
I think the complaint, for me personally, it feels like it's just missing something. I always think about places of, if you go to a food court, you're expected to spend money. If you go to the shops, you're expected to spend money. It's a place where you can go where you're not expected to spend money, almost.
I think I know what your issue is.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a focal point. So if you think of, like, Port Orleans, it's got the fountain as you walk in.
Yeah.
If you go to Kidani or Jambo, whichever one it is, has got the big...
Yeah.
The
big lobby.
The big lobby.
Well, in Jambo, in Kidani, it's more, you've got the... Anyway, yeah.
But one of them has got... You've got, is it Wilderness? It's got like totem poles? Or
Yeah. We haven't actually visited that one yet, have we?
No, we've not.
Yeah.
But like Saratoga has got all of the horse artwork as the focal point. Every single resort has a focal point, but you walk into Riviera and there isn't that grab your eye because there's just a few like sofas and a couple of tables with some flowers on. There isn't
the one
I'm in Disney, here's my Disney hit.
The one other thing, like you're saying about the focal point, one complaint that I've seen is that people saying that that they would probably say the focal point is the DVC desk in the lobby.
I mean, I'll be honest, when you walk in, the DVC desk is the first thing that your eye is drawn to.
Yeah. And then people are shocked by that, and it's like, yes, it's a DVC resort. They're going to try and sell you DVC.
Yeah, but I think it's a fair point that you walk in, and you don't walk in and see, like, the cast members wanting to check you in. You have to turn around almost to get that.
It feels like, because this opened at the very beginning of 2020.
No, it's like the end of 2019.
2019. It's like this November or December it opened. It feels like they had plans to do more, and then obviously COVID hit, and then everything just pulled back a bit. And it's like downstairs in Riviera, there's supposed to be airport check-in desks, so Delta and American can take in baggage at the actual resort, but they're not populated anymore. And I think they're actually gone now.
Alright.
So they had plans, but they've had to roll back on it. So maybe that probably doesn't help too much as well. But,
no, but I do think it is missing something when you walk in that draws your eye to some Disney.
So I like how you started this with I don't really agree with it.
Okay,
and then now you're like,
no,
actually you have a point. That's why I sort of put this on. So next we'll go to...
Well, sticking with this whole, it only has 300 rooms.
Yes.
I'm just going to throw a curveball in.
Yes.
That's not on our post on the website. Of the size of Riviera, I think is a good, because I feel like you get a more intimate experience. That sounded very wrong, but I feel like cast members can remember you more because there's so few people, and you can.
Yeah, it's one of those that I think it is almost an association to this one that Riviera gets a slack for being small resort, but that's actually quite nice. it isn't overcrowded. It does get busy, but it's never too crowded. Like when you go to Contemporary, it feels sometimes that it's like, yeah, it's a bit too bustly to move around, or just walking around anywhere in Art of Animation. It just feels like organised chaos.
Yeah, it's a much quieter resort, even though it's a resort that a lot of people visit just so that they can have a look at like the murals and the artwork and thing. I do think it has a much quieter feel to it overall.
Yeah.
And I very much enjoyed that I can, in the 2 weeks that we're there, make friends with cast members.
Yeah.
Like the guy, I can't think what his name was now. I want to say that it was Matt. It might not be. But in Bar Riva, who every single night that we went in there, he would he'd make our drinks as soon as he saw us. He didn't need to come over by by the second night. He was just like, same again. Yeah. And it was like, I don't feel like you get that at the bigger resorts because they've seen thousands of people, not hundreds of people.
That is giving you the Riviera experience almost, because I remember as a kid going to all-inclusive holidays. I mean, mine was Spain, not really the Riviera, but it was that the barman would know you and know what your family liked, and it would just be done. Sort of thing, just give you that little, you don't have to think about it, we're all right, we're bringing you your drinks over now. We'd go down for a meal and a Coke and a pint of beer for my dad would appear on the table like within 5-10 minutes.
Do you know what it reminds me of? It's Disney Cruise Line experience.
Oh yes, that's exactly it, isn't it?
It's Disney Cruise Line but at Walt Disney World in a resort.
Yeah.
And I think that is why I like it and I like the size of it, and so if coming with that means that it has a small lobby, then so be it, because I would rather have that than a giant lobby.
Well, a cruise ship has a small lobby as well.
It does.
So you've just thrown in an extra positive there. But that we weren't planning. So we're going to go on to another positive now, which on our article is probably the biggest part of this, and that is the food.
Oh my gosh.
So
the food at Riviera is, I would argue, the best food on property.
Yeah, so first of all, we've got Topolino's, which is a signature experience.
I think it's signature dining, yeah.
Yeah, so it is
character breakfast.
Mediterranean.
Oh, sorry.
Riviera food for Italian and French.
I thought you were going to go through meal times
of
it.
Okay, so yeah, it's Riviera food, Mediterranean food, and then the breakfast experience is character dining with a family style breakfast. Is it family style breakfast?
So it's slightly
now?
family style in that you get a little bowl of pastries and preserves.
Oh, and then you pick.
Then you pick. Yeah. But you have Mickey, Minnie, Donald, and Daisy, and the costumes for the characters are amazing.
Yeah.
The amount of interaction that you get at Topolino's, I would say, is probably the best character dining interactions at Disney. The breakfast food, we did it pre-COVID and post-COVID. And pre-COVID, it was much better.
Yeah, much better pre-COVID. And unfortunately, things have changed, and I don't think it's going to change back. But
I still enjoy, even post-COVID. We've done it twice post-COVID, you know.
And where's my sausage hash? I want it back on the menu again.
That's the only thing you want, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the only thing. It was absolutely gorgeous.
But I think if I could only do one character dining, it would be a Topolino's breakfast every time, because I know that the food is good, that the character interactions are good, and just generally the overall experience has always been good.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, Topolino's breakfast.
And then
evening, it turns into not a fine dining, but a signature experience restaurant. No characters this time, but it's a good wide selection Mediterranean food, and the selection they've got is really good. Now, a lot of people don't rate it. For us, it's very enjoyable. It's our type of food. It's exactly what we like.
I would say that it is better than California Grill. And
that's fighting talk with some people.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of where else that we've eaten.
I would say it is.
I think it's better than Bull and Bear.
Yeah. So Bull and Bear is the Waldorf Astoria in Orlando. If anyone's tried it before, I know. Last time we mentioned it, we've got a few comments of people going, "Where's that? I've never heard of that one before." But it's the restaurant at the Waldorf Astoria, which is it's good. The desserts are fantastic.
Yeah, the dessert is the
lemon bomb, is it?
I think it's just called the lemon.
Oh, the lemon, yeah.
But yeah, it's amazing. But I think in terms of the overall like meal, if you look at every course, Topolino's tops it.
Love it. Love a good pun.
I had the lobster, didn't I? Because
with all the itches as well.
No, I didn't have any itches because I'd been bit by mosquitoes earlier in the day.
Yeah,
and
so
I
Joe,
was just taking an antihistamine.
Joe is slightly allergic to shellfish.
I've only had once where my lips were very tingly and I did fear for my life, and it was eating lobster, so you know.
Yeah.
But just everything about that meal at Topolino's was amazing. Yep. We had a fireworks view because we were sat alongside the window. It just.
And if you read this article on the website, the headline picture is the picture from that night as well. So.
Oh, it was our anniversary meal, and they brought out like a little happy anniversary dessert.
Which they do at most restaurants.
I know, but it was a Madeleine.
Yeah.
That was like a really nice Madeleine as well.
They do at most restaurants.
No, like. So do you know when it's like your birthday and they bring out like the
cupcake?
Sometimes those cupcakes, you're like, thanks, it's really dry, I'm not that bothered. Whereas this was it was a very nice Madeleine and...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
Topolino's.
That's
2 thumbs up.
That's Topolino's. There's more than just Topolino's in this place.
This is why Riviera is awesome for food.
So, the quick service is Primo Patio. I have to make sure I said that slowly to actually say it right and then mush up the following words. So Primo Piatto or Patio.
Oh, Platter.
Piatta.
Anyway. Primo
best
place.
Quick service on Disney property. I am willing to die on that hill.
I could eat the blueberry pancakes with lemon mascarpone for every single meal for the rest of my life and I would not be disappointed.
Yeah, the breakfasts are fantastic, the daytime meals are fantastic, the evening meals are fantastic.
Got like a chicken focaccia with rocket
and the prices are reasonable as well. It's not that expensive. It's crazy that this quick service is just so good. It feels like when you compare it to other deluxe resorts, it's always like, why is this one so good and that one's so bad? Specifically talking about Contemporary Resort, because the Contempo Cafe is just oh no.
And also the Saratoga one as well.
Yeah.
The Saratoga one.
The Saratoga one is meh because of the choices. It's not because the food's bad.
But why is there so much choice at Riviera when it's a very small compared to Saratoga?
It's bonkers. Riviera quick service is the one I would travel to even if I wasn't staying at Riviera.
We have factored in going for breakfast at Riviera into our plans for our next trip based on like, if we go to Riviera first, we can get a breakfast there and then we'll Skyliner over to a park. Because that's how good the breakfast is.
Yeah, give it a crack. It's worth it. It's worth the effort.
Or maybe don't, because I want to.
No! Don't go there. It's ours.
I also think that the small plates of food that they do at Bar Riva, which is next door to it, where you can get like chicken wings and stuff, are also really good for bar snacks.
They do some of the items as well from the quick service in the bar, along with a few other items as well, and. It's just the right selection. You can get pizzas in the quick service, but they do slightly different pizzas in the bar, which is brilliant. It's perfect.
And then the last place to eat at Topolino's is the little petite cafe.
The little petite cafe. So it's just a little coffee shop, and they sell sweets and desserts and cakes and stuff like that. If you want something dead quick, that is a place.
Are really good.
And this is where I was going to get my grump about the Voyagers Lounge. So. they've got a very small coffee area with a few tables in. Like, there's bar seats and then a table. And then literally you walk out the door and the next bit over is this wonderful lounge, and it's like nobody ever sits in there unless you don't know it's there unless you walk past it or if you go in there. Where I think they could have just moved that cafe into the back of that lounge and then just had it that entire lounge just open out into the lobby area, and then that would be your common space, and I think that would work so lovely.
So I agree with you. However, the next ugly, I have a different proposal for that Adventures Lounge.
So
but
food.
The cakes at Le Petit Cafe are awesome.
Yeah.
It's a full like coffee bar, so if you want your lattes, macchiatos,
all the speciality coffees that you expect from anywhere else in the park is there. So you can get any mixture, and you can get your lattes made exactly how you want right there, with no problems. So I think that'll nicely take us on to our last bad, which is the shop. So the shop at Riviera is very, 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 very small. There is barely room to swing a cat in that shop, and they've tried to cram it with all of your standard resort merchandise. Then, because it's a DVC, it has food items in, but they're not able to do a proper range of food items because they just don't have the space. Yeah, it's restricted a little bit. They've then also put an art machine in. The standard art stands that you get, in Disney Springs and the art shops. That's mostly because Riviera has unique art on the walls, which you can then purchase through that service. So I can see why they put it in there. And then they've got the odd amenities, the strollers and stuff like that, and other items that you can pick up. But unfortunately, because it is so small, there's only usually 2 cast members who work in there. So all it takes is one person going in there for an art request and need some help. Next thing you know, there's 10 people waiting trying to buy something. So I think they actually have 3 cast members working in that shop. Oh, right. But there isn't room for them all to be actively serving people. Yeah. Because the till space isn't big enough. It's it's 1.5 people almost, isn't it? Yeah, and so then you end up that one of the cast members is kind of floating / putting stock out. And there just isn't enough room for everything that they need. So, to take your thing of the Adventurers Lounge, what I would prefer is take out the Petite Cafe, take out the shop, take out the Adventurers Lounge. The space that is used for the Adventurers Lounge and Petite Cafe, knock it through into one space with bigger shop area. Yeah. And probably take a little bit of the existing shop. Make the Petite Cafe literally have no seating in it, because it's only got like you say, a couple of stool seats and less than 10 seating spaces.
Easily less than 10.
There's just no point of it.
Just have it that it is just coffee a coffee and cake bit, and then people can get it. You can only basically do it to go, and then they can sit in the very small lobby, or they can just go off on the way, because realistically the people who are buying coffee aren't actually sitting really there. They're getting it on the way to the park.
The vast majority of people are getting the takeout. I mean, just in the times that we've sat in there, it's been mostly takeout. We were the oddities, I think. There was also another woman, wasn't there?
It all comes in takeaway cups. It's just that you can when you say takeout, like it is all takeout. It's just that a couple of people like us will sit there. But yeah, I think that would give more room for the shop, and with it would give more space for the merchandise that they're trying to put in, which would in turn mean that you've got more, like I want to say the shop bits of the shop, but you know your ready meals and drinks and things that you have because of it being a DVC resort. It would give you more room, because if you compare it to Saratoga is like a proper little co-op / Aldi, and Riviera is like a petrol station selection. So I think that would just give you the more room and make everything a bit.
Can't disagree with anything on that, to be honest. I think you're right.
Oh.
Yeah, so I think that sums it up.
So good, the Skyliner.
Yeah. Bad.
The food. No, I'm doing a good list first.
Okay.
The Skyliner.
The food.
The rooms.
Yeah.
The size of the hotel.
Yeah. And then the bads are the Skyliner, the shop, and the
lobby.
So, like I said, put this on the website as well, so you can have a read of that if you want, but I think we've covered everything that we've got on there. And
I think so.
We're going to be doing more of these in the future as well. Next one on the list is Bay Lake Tower, which I'm sure will bring out some angry reactions from people, because we didn't have a great experience at Bay Lake, but...
Not my favourite.
Yeah.
Expect a lot of bad.
But anyway, thank you for watching this video. If you like it, give it a thumbs up and consider hitting subscribe down below. And we'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.